and we are pleased to be joined by the team president for your Portland Trail Blazers, none other than Chris McGowan. You can follow him on Twitter at BlazersChris. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well. I think it might be colder in Portland, though.
Is that right?
It says it wasn't, yeah.
Oh.
Maybe it's moister in Portland. It's a little drier here, but it certainly felt colder when we took off.
We got that wind chill going on here, and it has been very, very cold. Well, you're on the road with the team, and these are rare opportunities for you, aren't they? I mean, you guys have some sort of team function happening tonight?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually, I go maybe 5 or 6 times a year, and my mom and dad live in Denver, so this was a good trip for me to come, be able to see them before the holidays, and then get back to Portland quickly because it's an up and back, which is typically what I'll do when I travel with the team.
Well, we obviously just wrapped up an incredible stretch of events here at Moda Center, and I'm learning, like Mike Barrett is, and Michael as well, if not, dropping the from Moda Center, right? A lot of us have been calling it the Moda Center. No, it's just at Moda Center. And so a lot of events, 11 of the first 17 games for the Trailblazers, obviously, Chris, have been here at home. What has been the early feedback that you've got? Because, there's a lot of new things happening around Moda Center.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the busiest couple months that we've had in a long time. Obviously, a lot of Trailblazers games, which you just mentioned. Feedback's been great. Fans are really liking the experience. All the new stuff that we've built is doing really well. And, I mean, you just have to look at the attendance report. We've sold out 8 of our first 11 games, which compares to 3 last year at this time. So fans are really supportive of the team, and, that's been great to see. And, we're lucky with that. As I talk about all the time, our fan support is always tremendous. But the great thing that, has also been happening is we've been having a lot of great concerts and other type of events in the Moda Center over the last month or so, which has been really good. A lot of people have been talking to me about that, seeing, Justin Timberlake and Fleetwood Mac and, all the great shows that we've had. It's been quite busy, one of our busiest on record.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal, just the amount of concerts. I can't remember a year where we've had this many great headlining, and it's crossed really all genres, too. So.
Yeah, Chris, that's what we're trying to do.
Chris, I want to say thanks, because one of the things that as a citizen of Portland that I used to point out, my wife and I, when we decided to make Portland home, was the lack of the type of events that you're now bringing to the Moda Center.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad. Now you don't have to drive up the road to another city to see your concerts. You're going to be able to see them in our arena.
Chris, I wanted to ask you a question about, the team's start this November, similar to last November, obviously is very, very good. Is the impact on business in terms of partnerships or other areas noticed immediately when the team gets out the gate like they have, or is it a little more delayed?
It's a little more delayed. I mean, it's not like instantaneous. It's kind of a slow build. You just don't see any dips in the wrong direction, which is nice. And, we built a lot of momentum last season going into the off season, and then to start the way we have this year helps us in all areas. I mean, you can look at retail, you can look at food and beverage, you can look at our ratings, you can look at ticket sales, and you can certainly look at sponsorships. And fortunately for us, they're all up, which is, what we try to do on the business side. So, but it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a little bit of time to build.
Joined by Trailblazers team president Chris McGowan, joining us on the phone from Denver. And Chris, I know we look into December, and it's kind of quite the opposite of what you've seen. We're going to be slowing down a little bit as far as home games coming up, but only 6 of them, in fact, in December. Can you talk about just how fans should probably, while the team is as successful as they have been right now, it's probably a good idea for fans to get their tickets now, because a lot of these games are going to be selling out.
Yeah, I mean, that's always buy them the earlier the better. I think you mentioned the great idea in using it as Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. It's always a great way to go, and the sooner you get it, the better. I mean, certainly we expect that there's not going to be a lot of games that aren't sold out this year, and what we always instruct fans to do is go to our website and get them there. Don't, get them on other websites, because, you can guarantee that they're going to be legit if they're at trailblazers.com. So jump on there and check out what we got. And as we get closer, ticket prices always raise, and your availability goes in the wrong direction. So the sooner the better is what our recommendation is.
Hey, Chris, talking about, the sellouts, the attendance, the performance of the team, the momentum that's been built over, a couple of seasons here, as it relates to the team's All-Star bid. I know there was a bid submitted by the Trailblazers to host an All-Star game. Can you give us any update on that?
Yeah, I don't have any real massive updates. So certainly we're in the mix, and we put our bid in, and the league has asked us a bunch of questions, and potentially looking to send some people out to scout and look at the sites that they would host all the events in. And all the feedback that we've gotten has been really, really positive. They were super impressed with our bid, and in our opinion, we think we deserve an AllStar Game. We're one of the only couple cities in the NBA that hasn't had one, and Paul's one of the longest tenured owners in the NBA, and certainly that type of celebration should go to all cities, and we think we could have an amazing event in Portland, and hopefully we'll get some news in that regard sometime after the new year.
Chris, getting a chance to know you for the last year and a half or so, you come across as a yes man. You never want to leave any stone unturned, and you're always looking for a solution and to make it better. Would that be an accurate depiction of you since you've been here in Portland?
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty fair. I like to, I think finding solutions is something that, we like to do as an organization, and something that we impress on everyone in our organization that's working on the business side daily, is that listen to fans, listen to what they have to say, and, let's go figure things out for them. You can get amazing feedback just by asking people that come to your arena on a regular basis what their thoughts are, and usually they're right. So we just try to listen and, try to implement what we hear from them.
Michael and I get these questions a lot, as do, most broadcasters. People always want to say, what's the most satisfying aspect of your job? And the fact that we get a chance to talk about a team that we're, not only covering and getting, basically it's a team that we love following. And, of course, Michael played for the Trailblazers. But for yourself, the most satisfying part of your job is what?
Seeing what we've done, I guess, to the overall event experience when, fans can come early and spend some time at Dr. Jack's and then go to a sold-out building and then stay afterwards. And, you're just talking about, taking a game that's a couple hours, 2.5 hours, and extending it. It's entertainment for people, so seeing smiles on people's faces when they're coming to the Rose Quarters have been pretty fulfilling for us. But for me, it's always great when you walk into a sold-out building and you have that really great energy. That's kind of what we work for, and that's what kind of motivates us on a daily basis.
Winning also helps, huh?
Certainly does, and fortunately, we've had a lot of that over the last year and a half, which has been great. And it's been fun watching. I mean, Terry has his 100th victory last night, and that was really great to see. And our players are all great people, and they work hard, and they want to win, and they do a lot of great things in the city of Portland. So for us, it's just fun to be a part of that.
Chris, you're on the road with the team, and it doesn't happen a lot. When you walk into the building to see the team play on the road, it's a different experience. Are you able to watch more from a fan perspective, or is your business mind observing everything that's happening in that environment in a comparison and competitive way?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, it is nice to, know that you'll be able to sit and watch the game and nothing is going to happen to where you're going to have to jump up and go deal with an issue. So that's always a nice thing. You can watch the game at a little different level, which is nice. For me, I always go into arenas kind of auditing what they're doing and watching and observing and looking at how they're doing things. And, when you see good things happen, you usually take it back and try to implement it in your experience. And then obviously if you see things that aren't going well, it's good to have that as well. So I'm observing things and watching game presentation, watching the food and beverage operation, going to look at the retail stores, just trying to learn as much as you can by going into all these different buildings. My parents live in Denver, so I've been to Pepsi Center quite a lot, but it was mostly back when I was working in the NHL for Kings games. So it's going to be nice to see what, a Nuggets game looks like in that building as well.
Well, I know you still follow the happenings in the MLS, Chris, and folks in Portland are not shedding a tear after what happened last night. The LA Galaxy beating the Sounders to clinch the West, and now they're going to play for the MLS Cup. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that was, obviously those are my two favorite. Well, I had three favorite teams in the MLS. I got to go with the Timbers and the Sounders, and then obviously working in LA, I always hope the LA Galaxy do well, and I was glad to see some of those guys obviously get a chance to go try to win another cup. And, I think they're playing for Landon, which is something that's pretty big. And those guys are obviously very motivated to win their fifth championship. And, it's going to be an interesting game coming up on Sunday. I actually went to LA last weekend and was able to go to the Galaxy game that was in LA. So it was good to see that and kind of see all the people that I used to work with. So it'll be an interesting game, though.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a career for Landon Donovan, no question about it. He's been class act all the way through. Chris, let's talk about Paul Allen and his $100 million pledge to fight Ebola. And can you talk about the Tackle Ebola campaign that Paul has put forth? I mean, and how fans maybe can be supportive even through, even though some of the news, the major issues of it has at least kind of dissipated a little bit.
Yeah, I think the message is it's not over. So you have to continuously be mindful of something of that nature, and obviously having the opportunity to work for Paul when he takes such a leadership position in something that has such an impact on the world. It's an honor to work with him and see someone using his money in such a positive manner. So that was an amazing initiative that he's launched, and certainly you can go to Tackle Ebola and look at it online, and there's all kinds of great information on the website, and I encourage all of our fans to go do that. Certainly you've been seeing us advertise it in our games, which is getting the word out and getting the messages out there to help raise money and get information in the right hands, which has been an interesting thing to be a part of. And I've obviously sent this to the NBA, and they were nice to send it out to all the 30 teams as well. And you're seeing a lot of teams, to launch initiatives in their game with UNICEF and actually with Tackle Ebola, which is what Paul created, so that we've seen some support around the NBA, which has been good too.
Oh, that's been terrific. Excellent.
Yeah.
Trailblazers team president Chris McGowan, we got you just for a couple more minutes, and then we'll turn you loose. Are you going to be able to go to the Pepsi Center then again tomorrow night when the Blazers are there?
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. That's going to be fun.
So it's a dual purpose trip then, right? Good to see the family.
Yeah, that's right.
What are you most impressed with the team so far that you have seen? Michael and I always talk about it on the pregame show, postgame, halftime, how together this team is and how it's reflected in their play on the floor, because there are no egos as you watch this team. They're just such a great group of guys, and I think that connection that they've got with the community, is only enhanced by what they do on the basketball floor.
Which would have been my exact answer as well.
Perfect.
Honestly, I mean, it's rare. I mean, you feel that with our team, that they all really like each other, and they don't have egos. And one night, one of our star players may be off, and someone's going to come off the bench and have a great game. And how balanced we are has been really fun to watch. And it's a different person every night. Certainly, we have consistency with our stars, but it's fun to watch. They're such a team, and they work hard, and when they get down, they never get really phased. They just kind of battle their way back, and the city is really rallying behind that. And I have a pretty good seat every night watching it, and it's been fun to watch for sure.
Well, hopefully the Trailblazers tomorrow night can make it 7 in a row over those Denver Nuggets, and you will be there to witness it all. Chris McGowan, thank you so much.
You might have just jinxed us. Jinxed us.
When Twitter is such a valuable machine, but when I said that on Twitter, the Trailblazers right now have I think at the time was an 8-game winning streak, or no, it was a 6-game, and then Dallas lost. So at that point, Portland had the longest winning streak in the NBA, and I pointed that out on Twitter, and everyone's like, jinx, and I said, I'm just pointing out the facts. The Blazers have the longest winning streak, and part of that's our job is to give information to people. So
well, I stand corrected then.
Okay, good. Well, let's it'll be up to the fellas tomorrow night to get the W, and we hope certainly that they get that. Chris, thank you so much for the time. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Okay, see you. Chris McGowan, team president for the Trailblazers.